Hey everyone, this is Sunny and Van, and I'm the advocate for verified, transparent, and trust in real estate. Now, to give you a heads up, if you see in my background, we built an application. Exactly. Now, this application is brought to you by Moovmynt Technology Inc. And the flagship product, as you can see in the top left corner, is MoovAI. And basically, it is a pre-sale master database built for buyers, investors, as well as realtors, where all the homework is done for you with metrics so you can easily find out what is the best layout for the best project you're interested in. Or if you're looking at price and average square feet, costs, you can run a lot of filters here. And quickly, just going to show you Coquitlam, 2+ bed, 2+, sort by min price, and quickly search. And as you can see, you'll have all the 2-bed, 2-bath listings categorized by minimal price. And if you want to have a quick view of all the layouts within that project, you can. And when you open up filters, you can also search by deposit. And if you want to get really technical, you can actually search by salary. What that means is you can search by how much you make. You can combine household income, and it'll tell you exactly what projects are affordable. Now, again, before we move forward, this is for informational purposes only, educational content, and this is not professional financial advice, okay? Make sure I want to say that, just don't want everyone losing everything because I allegedly said something. You know what? This is for educational purposes only. Now, this application, we are updating on a daily, if not weekly basis. And we've built the minimum viable product, as you can see right now. And we're actually in the process of raising capital for a project like this. Now, we started coding at the end of 2024. We actually thought we'd have everything coded. We'd be running ads by February of 2025, and we'd hit the moon. We'd be scaling and growing, and everyone's making a lot of money. We're building communities. As you can see, we're not there yet. We're very close now. And just to show how robust this application is, we have almost 1,200 projects, almost 6,000 layouts, and quite a bit of units, as you can see. Now, this is like your dashboard. We're still updating this as well. You can see your medium 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom pricing per city. Green is basically the better project or price or square footage. Blue is neutral, and red is a little bit more expensive, or if it's square footage, it is smaller than the average or the medium, sorry. Now you can see that there's light green, darker green, and different shades. Well, the darker it is, the more extreme it is, the better it is, or the darker it is. As for red, the more expensive it is, or away from that neutral blue. So whatever the median price is, if it's under that median price or the further you go, the darker green it gets. And if it is darker red, that means you're above that median price and the further away you get. Now, cool thing about this is we're looking at Coquitlam. So I'm just going to click on Coquitlam quickly here. So you just have an idea of what's going on. And this is going to get a little bit better, but now you have just Coquitlam, right? With medium 1 to 3-bedroom, average square feet as well. And the cool thing is when you go further down, it actually tells you majority of the pricing. So right now, as you can see, that in between 800 and 900,000, there are 79 listings based upon that pricing. So majority of the pricing for those units in Coquitlam are roughly in the 8 to 900,000. You get a little bit broader, 700 to a million, as you can see, they make up the bulk of it. And it also breaks it down condo, townhouse, apartment. However, these metrics we're updating. You can also see under construction, pre-construction, completed, and registered. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of how the development's actually happening in the city. But the more powerful point is if you go to listings, and I usually use list view, and we're going to go again, and we'll go filter, and let's go again to Coquitlam, 2+, 2+, sort by min price, and let's search. And I think I did something wrong here. I'm sorry, guys. I actually put Chilliwack and not Coquitlam. Let's just do that again. I apologize. Getting too excited here. I actually got a friend's bucket up party to go to. Their sister is getting married, and I'm headed to South Surrey White Rock shortly here. A little bit excited to eat some goat curry, if those that don't know what that is. But pretty excited for that. Now let's quickly go into the details view. It kind of gives you like a better idea of what that layout or that project actually is with some pictures. Now, if you like the traditional grid view, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to show this right now. We do have grid view, and you're going to see needs update and verified. This is a test run that we're doing, but this application is going to verify information. It's going to do the homework for you, meaning any update for discounts, price changes, etc., or they're all going to be here. So if they don't have a strata fee, or what the pricing may be, or the project is too early, it doesn't have all the information, you can find all the information here as well. It'll show verified badges, needs update, who updated it, how, when, where. It's going to be fairly robust. And as we grow this, you'll see there's more to this than just verification. We're building an application for the future, and we're changing this real estate market. We're disrupting this real estate market. And we're starting off with the lower mainland, the greater Vancouver area, and eventually we'll move further, to the rest of Canada. Now I'm going to go back to the filter, and this time I'll make sure I click on Coquitlam, and 2+ beds, 2+ baths, and again, sort by min price. As you can see, again. So we're going to open up one of these, and we're going to find the best priced project. Now you can go through all of these, but just for educational purposes, we're going to quickly pick out one here. But remember when I just mentioned verification, you're going to see verification like this. You'll see check marks like this was verified by the team. Now the verification would be from our internal team. It could be from the developer themselves, a sales rep from the development team, or it could be cross verification. It could be a cross verification with other realtors, and everyone's gonna be verified here, and I'll also show you something like that. I'm gonna just do a duplicate screen here, just a little bit easier, and then we're gonna go to developers and realtors. Right? If you go here, you're gonna see all realtors and how active they are. There's a few here and a few test ones that are testing it out. Same with developers. If you go here, you're going to see quite a bit of developers that they're going to already have a placeholder built for them. And we'll be reaching out to developers to update their profiles. And you can see that they're all going to be here. How often are they engaged? How big of a developer it is? We're going to gamify it. Have they have any financial troubles? How financially sound are they? How many projects have they built? How big is their team? And you're going to get a gamification score on how good of a developer this is. You're also going to get a gamification score, like a leaderboard, not only for developers, but you also get it for realtors. How engaged are they on the platform? How active are they in pre-sales? Which neighborhood are they owning? And to give you guys a heads up, we're actually going to be doing revenue sharing. And what I mean about that is when a developer buys into something like this, we're building out community walls. It's going to be another way for them to market their project. And we're going to have a social media loop where it's going to be automated with AI. Push of a button, you can have it out to your socials. It will be scheduled with all the text, with all the hashtags, but more valuable than just a regular post because it'll be pulling information out of this application, which is the cool part of this 360 loop. Now, when a developer signs up with this platform and joins with a community wall, a portion of that money will be given back to the users that are engaging in that community wall. And to be a user that is allowed to actually engage in that community wall, basically updating videos, information, and staying engaged with that community wall, showing the developer how engaged you are, showing all the posts that are linked to your social media by a click of a button. The developer will now know that which realtors are really active about their project and how active they actually are. And all the information will be updated here. So rather than always calling the developer or the sales reps and trying to get updated information, because we all know all this information gets buried in emails. I got thousands of emails with so many different projects and developers. There's no way I can go through it all. And that's why we actually built this. We had a pre-sale that we sold out in Surrey in Silva 3. And that's where we kind of figured out it was a lot of unorganization. We dealt with one sales rep that moved on to another project, and it was another sales rep that eventually moved on to a different role, and another sales rep. Not saying anything against Silva 3 or any other project. We're just saying that there's no centralized system that helps with this data, and that's why we built it. Eventually, we'll move towards moving all this information to a blockchain, and eventually we'll have more AI incorporated, and that's a different topic for another day. But just wanted to give you a quick rundown there. Now let's go back to listings. And as you can see, just by looking at the colors here, you can see that if I am searching for the best priced, we can go for one of these three. As you can see, there's green, green, and a blue, right? Versus the green, blue, and blue, or a green, red, and a blue. Now, out of these, it looks like, this one might be good, this one might be good, or this one might be good. And when it comes to square footage, one that has the best out of these for almost similar pricing, it looks like this one's a little bit darker than this, and it has 948 versus 884. For that reason, I think we'll click on here. And this is the details page. Now, I do have different views, and bear with me because this is the first podcast or video that we're actually doing with this application. So there is something that we have here that is calculate. And before I get to that, it gives you a quick breakdown. You can go into pictures if there's any pictures updated. Again, our team is updating this on a daily and weekly basis. Tells you the developer name, completion date, address, status construction, and last updated. And eventually we're going to have a little bit more information. Now, we are fully updating this, and as you may see the experience right now, or the way the look of this application is, this may change because we're interviewing Figma designers for then our developers to work cohesively and build out a better user experience. You can go further down, and we're thinking about updating these colors here as well, but it gives you more information about sold units and pre-sale date started. Now, this is something we want developers to advise. How many units were sold, when they were sold. It kind of gives a gauge of how hot a project is. And you'll have other information as well. We have a map here. If you go further down, you have the rest of the layouts as well. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of layouts. Now, we did run a search, so not all the layouts popped up, but you can see there's quite a bit of layouts. And imagine being a realtor, a buyer, or investor, clicking on a project, going to a layout, and now either using Google Sheets or Excel or pen and pad and writing these all out and trying to figure out which is the best. Now, this is only one project. Imagine all the projects in the city or neighborhood that you want to be involved with or interested in. Imagine how much time it takes. Either you're doing it yourself or you're going to pay someone to do it. So if you're a realtor, are you going to be chasing information, or are you going to working with your clients to make sure they have the right up-to-date information and making sure they get the right project for them? Again, look at all that. And eventually this is going to get updated, like I said before. Now, a pretty cool thing we have here is something that says calculate. Now, what happens is it's going to give you a breakdown of what to expect based upon historical data. So I'm going to quickly do that. I'm going to click calculate, and I'm going to change our window here. As you can see, it's more inclined to help out with someone that's looking at this, as we have to have a little bit of a play in the window that we use for these videos. Now, if you hover over, it gives you a little bit of more information, property value increase, etc., equity built. You'll see a negative here. The reason that this is negative in red is basically saying that the amount of rent that you potentially may get out of this property, educational purposes only, will be enough to cover X amount of the mortgage, but you'll need out of pocket to be spending $1,600. Now that's based upon 5% down. And if you go further down, it gives you a 25-year outlook. Property value increase over 25 years would be to 3.4 million. Now, that's if you bought the property at 776,000. That's over 25 years. If you look at the 10-year mark, easier to kind of digest here, you're roughly a little bit higher than double it goes up. Now, we do give you a heads up of your return based upon down payment. It's a pretty big return, almost 2,400, and based upon the sale price, basically a little bit above double, as you can see, over 100%. And you can adjust this by simply just changing a few of these factors here. So if I did tenure and all you cared about was tenure, and it'll give you the breakdown on 10 years, right? So maybe you're just looking to hold on to the property for 5 to 10 years rather than 25, or just too far out. You just don't want to worry with that. It kind of gives you a better idea here. You can also adjust the down payment and see where you need it to be to have it into a cash flow property. And you can see that our gross rent is blurred out. You got to pay for a higher tier for that. But I'll show you exactly a little bit better as to what that really does for you. Now, I'm going to go to the ROI calculator and it gives you even deeper breakdown. So I'm going to head over there and it kind of looks a little bit all over the place. I do apologize. Let me go into this screen here. Actually, let me go into this one here. It's a little bit easier to see. Or do you guys like seeing the full sunny over here? Look at how it like takes away here. I have a lot of stuff behind me. We're still trying to set up this room. I have a lot of stuff. We just painted the house not too long ago and we still got to organize. So if I take off this filter, you're going to see a lot of mess behind me. So let's just go to the smaller sunny. Hey, it's sunny in Van. And this is going to be based upon pulling the information from that listing that we just had. So it's automatically populates and we're just going to click calculate. And the one thing that it didn't populate is 2 beds. So I'll make sure that populates next time and I'll let the team know. Now, when you do this with the ROI calculator, it gives you a much better breakdown. Each investor needs $128,000 for this salary. So that's based on one investor. And you require $38,500 to be able to afford this. Now, we talked about gross monthly rent here. It's nothing there. It was blurred out before, but it's actually right here. And it gives you a further breakdown: down payment, mortgage amount, your mortgage payment, gross rent, interest rate, etc. It also breaks it down further. If you're also trying to pull money from equity, it'll tell you that, how much it's going to cost for that and how much you can actually pull out over the years. Property value increases over the years. Return on down payment, return on sale price. And that's rent and equity. That's rent and equity on both. And that's return on rent alone. As you can see, it's all in the red because you got to pay out of pocket over the months. And if you go a little bit further, it breaks it down further. Now, this is per investor. And if it kind of gets confusing, if you scroll a little bit further down, it'll break it down for you in like sentences here. Easy to follow. And we keep it at the 10-year mark rather than the 25-year mark, just so that it's easier to follow along. And you got your charts here, and then you got historical data. Now, all this is dynamic, as you can see, and it's going to get that much better. So this is almost at full MVP. Right now we say MVP. A few little tweaks that we're going to do. We're not asking for money yet. Eventually we're going to be asking for subscription based once this gets fully developed, and you'll see the upgrade once we do another video again. So a cool thing here is, let's just say you don't have $128,000 a year that you're making and you don't even have that down payment. However, you have your parents, you have your brother, and you have your sister. So there's 4 of you. So if you put in 4 here and you calculate again, it will now tell you that each person only needs $32,000 a year in salary and roughly $9,600, maybe let's call it $10,000, to be able to afford a home at $770,000 with 5% down. However, this is only based upon what the developer is asking. You would have to talk to a mortgage broker, a financial person that has expertise in this that can really help you out. And they'll advise you if you necessarily need more or less regarding this. But the bare minimum, just for educational purposes, you have an idea of what it takes to potentially buy something like this. Now, it's going to be almost $4,000. So if there's 4 of you, to be able to afford $1,000 each. And if you are not living in it, you're gonna rent it, then the difference is $1,600 because gross rent does not cover it. So for $1,600 between 4 people, roughly $400 each, could you afford this place? That's another way to look at it. If you're a realtor who has clients or looking for clients, and a lot of them may say that we can't afford it, they're not in that price bracket, this is a way for you to search and build out clients, because a lot of people don't even think about grouping together and purchasing a home, and this may get them ahead. If the return over 10 years is that the property value increases to 1.648 based upon historical data, let's just say it goes up by $800,000. And there's 4 people in 10 years making $200,000 each. However, nothing's guaranteed based upon historical data, educational purposes only. If we go back to the listing, and I'm going to go back to the mortgage calculator portion, you can also see how much it is here as well for your mortgage payment. And this is based upon 5% down. That's quite a bit. All right.